Alright there, hi everyone. So the most recent package is the one that came here in April. It's a big one. It's got 4 issues, so they all sent it in one. So 10, 11, 12, and 13. It looks like for 10, 11, it's going to be building the component for the white flag after the tank gets knocked out. The funny white flag that pops up all the time when the tank gets knocked out during the anime. Well, that's actually in this tank as well, which is really cool. So those are what those 2 issues are about. And then we also have here another component of the gun, and we're going to be working with that as well. I'll show you some of the parts. There we go, issue 10. We got some of the casings for that flag feature. For 11, some electronic components for that flag feature. If I grab the other two. 12, we have a big portion of the lower end of the turret, probably this area that's going to be rotating. And then we have part 13, which is, volume 13, just one piece. And it's probably this that goes inside that ring that we just saw earlier. So without further ado, let's get into it. I think 10 and 11 aren't going to require me to bust out what we've done so far, but I believe 12 and 13 will. So I'll clean up and let's get started with volume 10. Right, that's it. That's what we're looking at today. Or for now, we're going to be moving on to the next volume pretty soon here. But this is a part of that white flag function, and this is the first piece, the spring-loaded parts. I'm assuming that we're going to have something here to manipulate this lever here. So that, I'm not going to do it now, that piece is going to fly off again. But anyway, that's that for volume 10. We'll go into the magazine, the lore and the anime parts, and this is some of the history, and we'll move on to 11 thereafter. Give me 1 second to get this cleaned up. Alright, got that in there just nice and well. As you can see, this piece is in here, and that notch, which I believe something is going to manipulate that notch in order to release the flag. And the next step, and the last step, is the very most simple one of this all. This piece is just going to be glued right into this socket here. Oops. Anyway, you can see what the spring does. And I believe the flag will probably come out on top of here. So that's what we'll have. I'll get that in there and I'll show you the end piece. Alright, she's in there, and this is the orientation that we showed. What happened here, that spring went in there, so this is going to serve some function, but as you can see, this is now spring loaded. So I believe this is going to slot into a bigger piece with yet another spring. If I bring it out, it's going to be like this, and they're going to want this part facing up, the spring-loaded piece facing down, like this. Oh, and I see it's going to fit into this notch here, I guess. As you can see, like that. That's how it's going to go in, just like that. And it's spring-loaded, so if I let go, it's going to pop right out. And I believe this, the other side of the casing, this is going to come over here, and we're going to have maybe 4 to 6 screws putting this all together. So, and then that should all come together like that. So I'll get these in, and we'll see the final product. I actually don't know what's going on right now, because it's the first time building a piece like this, so bear with me. So, got the parts on, took a look at the instructions, got some little work here. As you can see, my hands are big, these pieces are small. So with this orientation, we're going to have this this piece here. It's going to pop right into this hole. Pops in nicely there. And then we got this really small piece, and it's going to be hard to show it to y'all, but this small piece here, and it looks like this is going to slot into this like square hole here. Okay, just like that. And then this small spring will feed into here, just like this. And I believe the other half, this part, is going to come in just like this and screw down. So then we got 2 screw holes here. So I'll get that put together and be right back. It's quite straightforward, but obviously the screwing will take some time. Alright, so here's volume 10. Again, they're reusing these pictures over and over, and the colors. Looks like for this issue, again, we'll be working with this casing for the white flag. And without further ado, let's get started. Same thing as always, so we got the table of contents here on the left side for volume 10, as well as what to expect for the next one, which as I'm subscribed to it, I mean, I've already got the next 3, so we don't really have to focus on that. You'll see what those pieces look like in just a few moments. Here's a parts list. Yes, the casing and spring for that flag feature. And I believe, as always, they'll get us into the building right away. I'll get these parts out, but it looks like a little bit more of this. Cool part is we won't have to deal with the full turret just yet. It looks like a spring. So this is going to be some building that I've never done in my life before. So hopefully it goes really smoothly. It's really cool that this feature exists in this tank. You know, this is kind of one of more of those fine features. You know, obviously a lot of remote control vehicles, you know, you can rotate maybe a turret, you can shoot machine gun sound effects and whatnot, but this little white flag feature is something that I'm really looking forward to because it's something really unique to the series, and it's kind of a small detail that, you know, the company could have easily overlooked and say, yeah, it's small, it's not really a big deal, but it's here, so let's get it done. I'll get those parts out. Alright, so I got one side of the casing screwed in. This is the motor over here, and as you can see, there's this little notch over here, and that's probably what's going to manipulate this spring-loaded notch over here. So anyway, that's what the internals look like here, and there's a power cable feeding out. I think we're going to use the tester for that. The other side of the casing is going to come here and fasten with 4 screws, and then we'll be done with that section. And then I think after that, it's simply going to be testing out this function here and maybe mounting this whole piece into the turret someplace. Probably beneath that, there's one little hole with a door on top, and I believe it's probably going to go under there. So I'll get this other part of the casing in, and I'll be right back. Alright, so we're back. I've got this piece put in nice and secure. One thing here, as you can see the notch, I was able to push in that staff and underneath this notch, and I believe this is electronic piece here, the power. We'll be testing that shortly, and that'll probably release this notch, which will allow the flag to go flying upwards. Here is the test board, and I'm gonna have to go fish out another 2 batteries, and we'll get that connected with this cable to the switchboard, to the power, and we'll see this in action. So I'll be right back. So if we take a look here, this piece for the white flag is going to be placed here. This is the hole where it's going to come out of, and I think after this is fastened, we'll flip this turret over and get that door on. But anyway, she's going to come in like this, just like this, and then this cable will feed around here, and the support is right here. So this is really straightforward. I'll get this in really quick and show you guys when we're finished. So basically 3 screw points here, and the cable fed around here with this function plugged into this port over here on the circuit board. Alright, got it in there somehow. No matter how hard I go with the screws, even trying to rethread it and stuff, I tried a couple of different times, but it's still wobbly like this. I guess it's okay. It's not going to come off. It's not a problem. But anyway, I'm gonna have to check on that later, but it is a little bit wobbly. It isn't coming off, but that's as far as the screws will go. In any case, sorry about this scene, it's having a hard time focus, but we're basically gonna file this cable around here and plug it into this slot over here, and that'll be it for this edition. So I'll get that in there, and we'll continue on with the content of the magazine. Alright, as you can see, the wiring is now complete. Everything is in here, so I'm assuming this is going to either be power and or remote control function later on. There we go, she is here, and we also have from previous editions, we got that motor that actuates the turret up and down. I lied, there's one more part. This is the cupola where the flag is supposed to appear. We've got that cupola piece here along with a pin, so I'll get that in there, and then we'll call it for volume, what's this, 11? I believe, yes. Okay, so I'll get that in there and be right back. Okay, you got back. The next step is really as simple as doing this, and we're just threading the cable through here. The orientation is going to be over here, and this is going to mount into the bottom of the roof of the turret. So one of the pieces, we have a couple of pieces here. I just pour these out. I believe this piece is going to come right here. Just fit in just like that. I think this is going to pop up through the top of the turret and be the mount for this cupola door over here. And this door would just sit on top of this thing. And just like in the anime, when we trigger this white flag, this thing will go up shooting open and then allow the white flag to shoot up through the roof of the turret. So I'll get these pieces in here and basically we'll bust out the big turret again and see how that all fits into place. Alright, so we got it all in there. Let's take a look. So this is what we had before with the notch all lined up. Here's the test switchboard with 2 AA batteries. And then the cable connecting all to here. I'll try to hold this like this. And if we pop the switch, let's see. Oh, that looks pretty good. That's actually really sudden. Anyway, let's try that again. So you feed it back down like this. Actually, it's kind of hard. You really have to, we need one more piece over here. Not long enough, okay. All right, see, she's, oh, is this, oh, it's in the upward position, I see. So it rotates just a little bit. So we have to reset it. Okay, reset. She's in. And we'll try it again. Boom, nice. So as you can see down there, this piece rotates. So when we're in the reload position, I guess we can just kind of put this down here. I'm gonna use my nail a little bit to get a little more reach. And when she's below here, in the opposite direction, see if we can get a good angle, locks into place. That's really nifty. I like it, and it's really sudden, just like the in the anime itself. The flag shoots up like boom. So I'm really happy about that. Okay, so let's move on. I'll get the next page and next piece is ready. All right, so we've about finished with the building for now. So we'll get into the actual contents of the magazine for Volume 10. Soju wa taihen. All right, operating a tank is difficult. So here we go. A little bit here. Our gunner and our driver of our favorite Panzer IV crew. And here's a little bit of what's going on here. A little bit of history in there as well. Here we go, we got a Tiger tank. For those interested in dialogue, you feel free to pause anytime to take a look. Some more character info for Miss Koyama here. Koyama Yuzu. Oh wow, she's a bit on the tall side. We've had a lot of characters in the 140 centimeter range, but here's someone at 157. I think that is Japan's average for women. And there's some more character designs and info for fans. On this side we have another early Panzer model. This is definitely an infantry support unit. It's crazy to see how far tanks came along during World War II. As you can see, a lot of this really boxy design with like really large rivets and screw notches, and you see that things get a lot more smoother, and tanks also get significantly larger over time as well. And all of this evolution happened only within maybe 5 or 6 years. Some stats for the tank. Try to get, again, fight this glare. Give you guys a big picture of that. And that's what the tank looks like in the anime 3D model. And that's that for 10. I'm going to get out 11 next, and we can kind of finish up that, that white flag function part there and see what 11 and 12 have to offer. The next one's going to have a few parts, I believe, small parts. So I'll get that out right now. So here we are with 11. We're just gonna get right into it. We know the routine by now. We'll be finishing up that white flag function part, and as you can see, they just keep reusing the Panzer IV pictures of the actual finished tank that they've been rotating since the start. As usual, we have table of contents on the left side. Also a preview into what's coming next. I'm subscribed, so I just got one box with all 4 issues from 10 to 13. So you'll be seeing those parts shortly. For this edition, here are the parts. It looks like another test switchboard. So we'll be able to test that white flag function. No white flag included here yet, so there might be something coming in the later parts, but these are the inner workings. And let's get started. So it looks like from here, what we had from just earlier, we'll be putting on some sort of perhaps a motor of some sort. Yes, a motor with casing. And as expected, it's going to be manipulating that spring-loaded notch. And it's pretty straightforward. Casing, one half of the casing goes in. The motor, gets put in on top of that, and then we'll probably get the other side of the casing in, just like that. And as we can see, the notch in there loads in. The spring-loaded notch will load into that, and that keeps the flag down. I guess on the use of a button, as we'll see the test switchboard here, it'll allow that staff, that brown staff in the middle, that's probably going to have the flag on top, to pop out. So we'll get this started. I'll get the parts ready and be right back. I'll probably just go ahead and do this first 2 or 3 steps and show you what it looks like when it's finished. Alright, so that's what this part looked like. Pretty straightforward. We have this piece down here, these tubes, this flat piece that's stacked right on top into notches, as well as this piece right here, all glued together. I'll let that sit in the side. We'll work on the next part. So it looks like we have this box here, of which we have a hole here, and the piece is going to fit in, and we have our first sprue. So I think this large piece over here is going to fit in over here, and then we'll have another piece fitting into this one over here, this separate piece over here, and I'll get those in there and show it to you when I finish. Alright, so really straightforward here. Here's the middle piece here. We're going to have this plate come in through here, just like this, and then on the other side we have this block that will mount straight into here if I get the holes lined up. And there'll be one piece here. And this seems to be something that will mount over here. These holes just like this. And that's where you're going to have the finished piece. And that's it for 13. So I'll get this all glued together and be right back. Alright, so come back to that last section. We had this part right here, 3 pieces together, and we just put these 2 together. Other components of the junction box, this small piece that was on the sprue hooked up to a hole in here. Same with this, another junction box part, small piece from the sprue hooked up into over here. So the next step will be to get all 3 of these pieces together. So as we see from here, we've got 2 notches here, and this will be facing in this direction. Glues right into here. Nice snug fit. It looks like on the other side, we have this piece over here, which is mentioned, fitting into notches down here in this orientation over here. So basically, pretty much straightforward, some gluing. I'll get those in and report back. Alright, we're back here. This is all completed. So we got this portion of the junction box put in here, and this facing, as well as in the rear side over here. So now we got this big piece. Looks really big, but it's plastic, which is kind of good, a little bit on the light side. And it looks like we are going to get this piece stringed up over here and just screwed in just like this. And that'll be it for this edition. What's this one? This was 12, correct? Yes. And then 13 will be coming up in a little bit after. So I'll get that screwed in and show you. This is not going to be connecting to the main body yet, so it'll just be like this for now. Alright, and that's it. This got us fastened through a metal pin over here, and I believe that'll allow this flag function to shoot out. So that's it for now through 11. Lots of wiring done. She's coming together, getting really heavy. Only worried about this part though, it's kind of wobbly, but I think for now it's okay. It's not a high stress point, it's not coming off. And, oh, sorry. I always take off the cupola when working on the interior. That's what she looks like through 10. So we're getting there. Next, we'll go through some of the content of the magazine and try to bust out 12 and 13, because there aren't many parts for that, so it should be pretty straightforward. But anyway, let's keep moving. I'll be right, let's just hop into it. Give me a sec. So talk about engine. Is the engine diesel, gasoline, diesel or gasoline? So it's a good thing. I'll have to read it later, but my guess would be diesel. I don't know. I feel that Germany makes a lot of diesel subs, so I would assume it's diesel. But some interesting tidbits here. I'm doing this all live as I'm doing it, so I don't really have a chance to really read through everything for you. But here it looks like the Firefly. Great version of the Sherman tank. And some more history there. And some interesting stuff here. Looks like a more modern tank. Looks like an M1 Abrams. It is. Okay. And we got another 2 pages here. Episode 5, Part B. It's a little bit of an episode summary and guide, as well as some trivia regarding this one. Try to get that glare away from you. And then talking about a truck, a little tow truck, Type 94, that they use to basically tow stuff around. Another Japanese one, and you can tell that they're a Japanese equipment because they didn't have any special names for them. They just basically said type, number, and exactly what function it was supposed to do. Anyway, that's that for 11. Again, we do have 12 and 13 coming up, and I'll get that out just shortly. Give me a second. So here are with 12, pretty straightforward again, reusing the same covers as well as colors. We'll be working with a little bit more of the turret. I think the bottom part of the turret here. There's a moderate amount of pieces here, one large one. Just bust it out really quick. This one, as you can see, is quite large, going to mount to the bottom, as well as probably some internal pieces here for mounting different things. But that's the 12th one. Getting a little tired here, as you know. Here's the table contents on the left side, as well as what we'll get next week, which I already have that in hand. So we'll be coming up with that in 13. Here are some of the pieces for volume 12. A little bit worried about these really small pieces, but kind of also happy that there are only 3 screws. The screws are driving me nuts right now. Alright, so it looks like we're going to be starting off here. Not sure what this is. Junction box is what it's called. Okay, I guess we'll see shortly what that's going to do. But basically straightforward how that's going to be put together. And just some gluing for the most part. Followed up by the big piece at the end. And I guess that just hooks up there. And this part does not connect to the main turret just yet. So we don't have to bust out the turret this time around. And just 2 screws. So again, the traditional 1 free mistake screw. 2 screws in once that piece goes in, and that's it for 12. So I will get set up and started here. I'll be right back. Alright, so that piece is in there just like that, all screwed in. And that's it for 12 in terms of parts. and we'll just go over the next of the contents of the magazine. So I'll clean this up really quick, and here we keep going. Okay, so here we go. More bits of history here. I'm going to have to read through this again and again sometime. Interview from one of the voice actors from Momo, Ueda Kana. Okay, so here's an interview from her. For those fans of her, you can take a look at some of the content here. And it's quite a long interview. We got continuing to another page, some scenes from the anime. Which match she liked and the character she likes. She likes the main character's older sister as her favorite. Interesting to see that a lot of these voice actors, their favorite character is a character they don't play. Maybe they're just being humble, or maybe that's just the way they are. And there you go, 164 centimeters, a bit on the tall side for this story. She's A blood type, you follow into that. And here's a little bit more of character design, as well as some other scenes that she pops up in. And we're featuring another tank here. Another Panzer, 1940s model, with what it looks like in-game, or not in-game, but in the anime, along with some of the statistics. And yeah, that's all we have for 12. We'll hop right into 13. There's only one piece, so that should go in right and easy. And that was 12. So give me 1 sec, I'll bust out 13, and we'll call it a day. Okay, here's 13. Looks like the same cover as the first volume. And we're only going to be dealing with this one part, and I'll take it out just now. You can take a look right here. It looks like the base of the turret. I believe this is where the loader might be standing. So that's 13. Pretty straightforward here. Table of contents as usual. This one I do not yet have. Looks like we got some more motorized components coming up next month. I know it says April 10th, but oh, I did receive this actually. I guess I'll have to do that next week. And here we go. Volume 13 parts, just 4. It looks like it's going to be the internals of the turret here. And let's take a look at what that's going to be. So all those pieces, the 3 pieces, the small ones, will just be, will go in just like that. And they will mount to this base plate. And as you can see, all the instructions for 13 are in one page. So I think we can just bang this out and like head right into more of the content here. So let's take a look here at these parts. Actually, give me a sec, I'll just cut out. All right, and you can see right here, that's all the pieces put together. Pretty simple, and that's 13, so we're just going to put this aside. So I know that spare parts box is quite large, but it's not fitting these interesting pieces in, so I'm going to have to find a place to put this and the other big piece for now. But anyway, that's finished, and so we can kind of get into the content of the magazine. Here we're going into maybe some engine cooling components. I do not know anything about any of this. That's how the Panzer IV engine probably cools itself. It's via air, how it lets air in, perhaps. Then we got episode recap for episode 6, part A. So I guess this is when our Anko team went out and our protagonist went up against Sanders, the American school. So it's always something nice to take a look at. And we have that, I like this character, the sniper that pretty much plays in the Firefly, the crack shot. We also have part B here of the recap. Ooh, got a little bit of a crease there. Then moving along here, some more dialogue. Looks like with maybe a Panther tank over there. Some more dialogue. Maybe a preserved version of one of those tanks. It looks like a 97, a Type 97 Chiha. Japanese tank. We've got a little bit more history. And continue with more dialogue here. As well as a modern tank here. Looks like a T-74. Got one more page here. Hey, some cute art. I always like art. Well, so it basically says number 4, which just means it's the Panzer IV, our Panzer IV. We're excited for you to finish this. So I guess they're just cheering us along. I like this kind of art though, these kind of like funny sketches and whatnot. So this is really cute. This is probably my favorite thing I've had so far in one of these magazines. Just sketches from the artists. And kind of highlighting some of the parts that we've done so far. Very nice. And we also have, looks like a Panzer III, which is looks very similar to the Panzer IV. It's funny because the Panzer III was actually the one that was supposed to go up against tanks, but it ended up getting outphased, and in history they modified the Panzer IV to be with a bigger gun so they could knock out some tanks. Panzer IV was originally an infantry support unit. There's some stats in that, and that's all we have for issue 13. So I do have the package. It is April. I fell behind, which is kind of why I bang out all of these ones. I will try to get this done next week. I just received April's ones, and we'll see where that leaves us. But thanks for following along. There's another 87 to go, and it's been fun so far. Thank you.